you know, Debbie is a frugal shopper, you know. Me, I tell her, you know, if it says Samsung, you walk by.
Yep.
You know, but it looks, I don't care what it looks like.
Yep.
You know,
so you have no electronics in your house? Because they homemade.
We actually just got a new washer and dryer.
Oh.
He was a little nervous this morning.
Got a brand new one.
Well,
3 years ago.
He said that.
And it's electric. And
talk to Ellie. Tell Ellie to.
Oh.
Okay.
I'll tell Ellie to compliment him on his glass.
He was a little nervous, so I told him, I sound like a family text message to everybody that wears glasses. If you send me a picture of you wearing your glasses, he said, oh, I didn't realize they wear glasses or this one or that one. I'm like, yeah, a lot of people do.
Hello, sir.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Frank Mack. Nice to meet you. I'm good. How you doing?
Look at these guys are gentlemen. They stand up.
Yeah. My daddy says don't ever shake a man's hand if he's sitting down.
I was just going to say it's just that that side of the table may be a little bit lazier on that side.
Well, you know, I didn't know whether he was shaking hands or fixing to strike me. So
Right.
Stay out of reach.
I don't think we've come to that yet, but we haven't.
No, I didn't think Lee. I'm just.
Is he from over in that Harrison district? You know how them folks are.
I was talking about getting along. Thank you for your email about your text about the truck and trailer. I got one more call to make that might make it really easy. If not, we'll probably take you up on that.
Just let me know, because the trailers at the shop, all I gotta do is put the goose down in the
So what we gonna decorate with? Are we gonna decorate with ourselves?
What are you gonna do?
We're all gonna be in the Coleman Christmas
No, I tried to talk
together.
Todd into doing that.
You can ride with us.
I've got the truck and the trailer ready to go.
Do you have?
Yeah, Kelly's got a flatbed, a gooseneck truck trailer.
You got, what about decorating?
What do y'all want decorated?
I don't know, just something
Don't
Christmas.
look at here, my board wants to be in the parade, and you
She's gonna
show.
decorate it. I think
We're already in.
We're ready. Look, is it gonna be big enough I can take my grandkids with me?
I thought that would have been a great idea.
Yeah.
That's what I wanna do.
I thought it was your idea.
Cause I already told them I'd take them to the parade and we was gonna ride in the Jeep if we didn't do nothing else.
She said it was yours, you gonna be the
Well, I can surely
leader of the
facilitate
pack.
that, and I'm sure Kelly would be ecstatic, because he's got
Well-
to get fence and stuff off the trailer.
I forgot, yeah, you probably got, does he got a flatbed?
He's got a gooseneck.
No. There you
Is
go.
it in a big truck? That's all. That'd be too big for him.
So, what do we need for the decoration?
Well, how y'all want to?
You do
Decorate.
something really elaborate.
Well,
Whatever. I mean,
tell me what you want. I'm
Just send her and Lacey over, it'll be done.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
This is my preferential requirements.
Eat.
Step on, ride, step on, go on.
Have a ladder for me to do that.
Well,
Jim Ring's sons have what I call his parade wagon. We use it for field trips all the time. It's normally parked under the barn. It's got side rails already on it. It's got hay bales in it. We can just get on it and sit. Somebody will just string some tinsel around it. I meant to ask him yesterday and just got it. That
Well,
was
that'd be
super,
good.
super easy.
Yeah. Well, Callaway, we've made it's that gooseneck that we went and he picked up watermelons with. So there's sides. He's made wood sides for it. Now he took them off the skid steer, so I'm not sure what he's shooting again. I'd have to get him to check, but I can ask him tomorrow.
The only thing you need to do is make us look good on it.
That's right.
so maybe we get some tents and put Merry Christmas on the side of it.
Well,
That sounds good.
I can take
Well,
a little credit card, make some phone calls tomorrow.
Parade. I don't do them anymore.
Well, look,
I don't even go
I
to
can-
the
Well, we've got a place for you.
Do we not have a?
Retired
a
Judge
band?
Harry
We
Rice
don't have
gonna
a
be
band.
right up there with us. Our legal counsel.
too late to get one made too.
No, Chance, I'm sure he can make the Board of Commissioners a banner.
Well, get it done and just tell us where to be at.
Yeah, you just take care of it and tell us, you know, and I'll purchase whatever, some
The parade,
decorations or whatever.
parade starts at 2 and that has to be there not later than 1:30.
That's right.
Where we gonna meet at?
4.
They'll tell us where we have to line up at.
We might build
We'll be
the
there.
fire department to come around.
Unless, are you offering to take us all to the ballgame?
No, I'm just saying the ballgame starts at 4, so y'all better get off that.
We will,
We'll be home by then.
we'll be home, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I just thought maybe you was gonna take us
How you
all to
doing,
the ballgame, I was awful generous of it.
I know
these guys.
Here, Chad.
Nice to see you. Yeah, see you. Nice to see you. Frank, nice to meet you.
Brian Kirk. Big dog, good to see you, Mr. Manning.
I think it may have turned over completely since the last time I came up here for anything.
It's great, man. It's great.
New blood.
Daniel is the, county attorney for Oconee County.
And I'm helping y'all with the opioid litigation because Mike's firm had a conflict, so got a little news tonight maybe.
All right, thank you.
Emmons might be the next guy.
Christine.
Yes, sir. Hi, nice to meet
You know,
you.
and I don't have any other stuff, where I like to think outside.
Okay.
And talking to trying to figure this stuff out, is there a mechanism?
We get through the
Does
meeting.
everything have to go, everything
Todd
has
to sign
to
up,
go
so
to
it needs to be signed.
Not all.
Okay.
But I hope it was them.
Okay, that's
Is
fine.
there a way that we can get to work with the Red Link or some of the local hospitals that a call that's up to this level? Can we go, are y'all available, we can bring it to us? Because I'm just thinking outside. Something's gonna have to change, doing business the way it's always been done, it's just not gonna continue to function.
You don't know how proud that makes me to hear you say those words. You are correct 100%. All we have to do is get Bobby on the phone or run by there one day, I'll do it for you, it don't matter. But I think you're correct, that we need these drop-off points without it being an emergency every single time. For one, it's cheaper. 9 times out of 10, it's somebody, if you listen to that radio sits over my shoulder, I hear all day long, transport hospital been throwing up 2 days. 9 times out of 10, it's nothing that could have went to Metro, that's crap. We just have to get all those people to do that. Because I know Medley could be willing, especially with this expansion. I'm super excited about this.
I've heard the risk on everything is up. That's part, I feel like that's a lot of the reason. Well, the deputy has to fear for his life when he goes get domestic dispute.
Yeah.
Traffic stop, you never can tell what's behind that window that's thin.
No. And it's everything you go up.
How are you? Pretty rest, we get him pretty early, but we progresses.
Okay.
We see the evolution changing, every day, but it's just all the way down to the smallest things, is even with an ambulance with the lights on, if you're behind one, look see how many people actually still pulls over, you know, or funerals, how many people still pull, the mindset is all changing.
No, the people don't even know the.
I watched the other night, there was a car chase on TV in Atlanta, and the car that was fleeing had to go through the ditch to get around the car, and the ambulance had to go around. They ain't even slowed down. And I'm like, you know they saw him coming.
Tell me. It'd be interesting. See what?
Yeah.
I was a little surprised.
Sometimes I do. Like I asked him to check. We got a terrible, they talk about it, we red light there. Yeah. Stays red for like 5 minutes.
When you turn it in,
I've never seen a car go.
Yeah, that was the thing I was noticing, they got red lights and nobody, they just stopped it.
Some of them are already,
They rev it out.
Revenue.
This is the only time of year that you have to pull that long enough early, and then like, we're trying to get all the budget stuff. Had we had started a little bit earlier, probably could have saw like one a night. It's just,
You're not charged with that. You're not talking more. That wagon is arranged to get if it's available, it's not put in still by.
We done it the right way, we done it this way easier. What you saw tonight,
maybe we just have, maybe other folks have already turned it.
Yeah, that's the way I was thinking, because I think we
I'd love to have it quarterly.
So then you think guidance?
Yes, that's probably the way I would. That's the way I would.
Yeah, you said if you take out probably in the last one, I didn't have it what I thought was last. I feel like I know enough about it.
I slipped my tongue. I split my check on the side.
Mike Brooks.
I'm good.
Brian Kurt's good.
Mr. Pruitt? Sir. How you doing? I'm good. How you? Hey, Mr. Pruitt.
Commissioner Chandler, Commissioner Athens over here.
Get on that side. I'll come to the east. Way on the Methodist side. Just stay over there with the Baptist y'all. Your group offended him when y'all made him move. You can sit up there. That's true.
Yeah.
So that was before my time.
Well, that was your number, number 2.
You know, I will say this, you get a lot less criticism when you're sitting back there than you do when you sit in that thing. Because there's lots of folks that know a lot more about what goes on than I do.
People out there always know more than people up here.
Before I open my mouth.
Always. Good to meet you.
Nothing allowed. Maybe 2 or 3 Thanksgiving.
I can do that. I can do that. I'll try to, if I'm gonna hang off around a little late today.
To approve their recommendation.
That's, I mean, generally how it works, but they have their own
Zach,
point.
did you cover Iowa last night?
So,
Did you cover Iowa?
you know.
Good turnout.
That's the last time that we well, that's
Crazy how that's all coming together. That little group of people pulling together about like Athens, pulling everything else together. Bobby McCants done a good
Yeah, I'd
job.
rather have a little more like
Bobby,
people that.
Solutions Planet, paid for a lot of them.
Because they one time meet through.
Good to see it though.
Put the name out real quick, I'll get somebody else.
I mean, people you
Yeah.
think about last night.
Yeah, that's unusual, probably. You would think it would be Frank John. Slip a name.
You're waiting on some leadership to come.
Yeah. Well,
Did y'all send
Yes,
out
they said they had a
memo
great time.
about one person? I think, did you?
My mom
I
said
know, I've got,
them.
there's like 3 or 4 names that been tossed to me, but I didn't know if there was a specific mechanism.
I have no idea.
There's not, it just says the board has their appointment, board of commissioners makes the appointment.
Yeah.
What I might would propose is to formalize people that put their name in the hat.
We set a deadline.
And we can either send that as a group to them and say, you know, give us your top 2 and then we make a final.
Why don't we set a deadline for anybody who's interested to submit their name to resolution? And then we will take those and submit it to the IDA for their recommendation. You know, we need to kind of move on.
Yeah, so, very good. You know, there's plenty of, that we put in the paper about people that were interested in that, to submit their resume and stuff. We might want to make sure we get that portion put in there, and then also.
Could ask my friend Mr. Baker if they do that at all the city stores in the country.
Do that?
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what we should do, that, put it in there and say, get it in here by this time. And then, if everybody is, and other people are submitting them, then say, okay, this is the group, and then you review them. Well, however you want to do it. Let, I'd review them.
We can ask Zach to make a note, second paper, and say, submit them, have them all submitted by the end of December. We take a look at them first meeting in January, then submit. or submit them to IDA.
Yeah, they're probably gonna push back, honestly, and say, that's y'all fault,
Well, we give
We're
that,
asking them for their input.
we'll ask for a
But I
meeting,
mean,
but.
yeah, I think purposes to add, just say the deadline is, submit your name, whatever information you want, and then figure out how to handle it from there. Don't commit us anything.
And then if we ask for the input, and they don't give it, then
That's right. It was also, and I'm not saying they would do that, I'm just saying if you're on that side of the ledger, somebody could probably say that you're, you know. Collectively speaking, somebody's gonna think like you.
Right.
And, I mean, box guard.
you think anybody thinks like any of us?
Well,
Yeah, we proved
I know
that.
we're recording, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it anyway. I wish they would.
You.
About what? My wife accuses me of not thinking at all.
All right, I want to welcome everybody to the Madison County Board of Commissioners regular business meeting. November 29th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank y'all. Everyone has a copy of the minutes from October 25th, 2021, the minutes from the budget work session, also a copy of the regular business meeting from October 25th, 2021, November 1st agenda work session, and November 9th budget work session. I'll ask for one motion to adopt the minutes and tonight's agenda.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Doster, second by Mr. Kurt. Dennis?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Officially.
Yeah. Before we get into business involving guest groups and visitors, I'd like to welcome Mr. Frank May to the table. Frank was sworn in Wednesday last week by Mr. Cody Cross, Judge Cross, and all I can tell you is thank you for your time and your future efforts, my friend, because it will definitely be an endeavor. I'm looking forward to it. Attorney Daniel Haygood, National Prescription Opioid Litigation.
What a way to start your first meeting. This is some strange, bizarre stuff. I think, as most of you know, I've represented Madison County, assisting Mike, over the past few years in what's become known as the opioid litigation. There are virtually every city and county in the country, every state, school districts, hospitals, sheriffs, all are involved in this multi-district litigation. And the basic thing I'd say to you today is we, Madison County, I represent Oconee County in this too, we don't want to be out on our own. We want to tag along and let everybody else spend the money on fees and do all the work, and let's see what kind of funds can come to Madison County. I'll tell you up front, because this will be what you're going to ask me, is what's the amount of money we're going to get out of what I'm talking about today, and the answer is we don't know. What we do know is there's a $26 billion settlement fund for, I'm going to just read these companies, the McKesson Corporation, Amerisource Virgin Corporation, Cardinal Health Inc., Johnson & Johnson, Janssen Pharmaceuticals, Ortho McNeil Janssen Pharmaceuticals, and Janssen Pharmaceuticals. Well, they're in here twice. That's just a few of the defendants in this. They, in the multi-district litigation that's pending in, I think it's in Ohio, have proposed a settlement. The attorneys groups that kind of run this are recommending that it be accepted. Our local firm that we work with on this, who does mass tort litigation with some expertise, is Blazigan Birch. They're recommending that we accept the settlement on this. Now, once assuming Madison County approves this, once you do this, we have to wait on everybody else to decide if they're gonna approve it or not. There's a deadline sometime next week for getting all this in. Once everybody that has agreed to the settlement agrees, they'll go back and look at the numbers and see where everybody comes out. I'm gonna give you a real, just wild guess here. It's based on some models that are out there. From what we're talking about today, the dollar settlement number might be around $200,000 to $300,000. In addition, we get 25% of the amount that's allocated. In Georgia, the state gets 75%. Cities and counties get 25%. Of that 75%, they have to spend 40% of that amount in the area, for example, in Madison County. So that would effectively double the amount of money we get, and this is just one group of plans. Attorney's fees, you always want to know about that, and you ought to want to know about it. There's actually a separate fund of money for attorney's fees, and we can either, as attorneys, apply to be part of what's limited, I think, at a 25%. There's a pool, and you can either argue about the money or you can agree to a 25% contingency fee. Blasey Gay Birch says they think they put in more time than that, so they'll probably argue. That doesn't affect your recovery at all, because it comes out of this separate pool. In effect, and I know you'll all appreciate this, in effect, all the lawyers are just fighting over who gets what part of that pot. So in talking to Drew Hill and in the letter he sent, his kind of points on this that I agree with is participating maximizes recovery. If we have to get out there on our own, we have to hire experts, we have to do all the stuff that each individual plaintiff would have to do to establish a damage. We don't want to be at the outside looking in, because if we're not in the negotiating class, it's almost impossible. That's why we're in the multi-district litigation to begin with. Obviously, it reduces the amount of work we've got to do. You've already done some, you may not know this, but you put together fact sheets and a lot of information that went into the multi-district litigation files, and we probably would not have to do anything further on that. The judge wants everybody to do this. He sent a pretty strong message that if you're back in front of him and you're not part of the settlement, he's not going to take it all that well. So, for those reasons, and you know, just the basic reason that if we have to do it on our own, we're going to spend way more than the amount we'll ever recover from it, in my opinion. I recommend that the board, there are actually a couple of things you're going to be doing tonight. There's a resolution that approves the county entering into the settlements, and there are two specific companies that have settlement agreements. One of those is...
It's number 10 in y'all's packet, the resolution.
Well, it's Jansen and Jansen. Let's see.
National Distributor.
Distributor settlement is what they call it.
And those are exhibits to the resolution.
And what you'll be doing is authorizing the chairman to sign all these. I've got 3 copies. I believe y'all want it. I'll take 2. National Distributor and J&J Settlement. Those are the 2. So, I mean, the good news is we're probably close to getting some money. The further good news is whatever we get, the state's probably going to put at least that much more back into Madison County. Exactly how they're going to do that, we don't know. And we don't have to do any more work than what we've already done. Now, there'll be others. Purdue Pharma, for example, that you've all heard about, the Sackler family, that's all still pending. That's probably bigger numbers. So at the end of the day, you know, the total number is going to, I think it'll creep up towards 7 figures. It's not. Any questions? Anything I can address with y'all on it?
You don't need me to read this out loud. We'll just make a motion to vote and I'll signature.
Yes,
Okay.
that's fine. Okay.
Thank you.
And Daniel, I noticed section 3 has a blank for the board of commissioners appoints. That would be the chairman, I assume, right?
Yeah, and what I have that y'all don't have is I took their Adobe file and I fixed it so that it has everything filled.
Oh, good, okay.
I shouldn't say I did, my secretary did it.
Daniel, I greatly appreciate you handling that on behalf of Madison County Board of Commissioners.
It's been my pleasure.
So with that being said, gentlemen, is there any questions, that you may have for Mr. Haygood? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve or deny entering into this resolution.
Chairman, I move that we adopt this resolution as presented before us tonight. I'll second that motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Chandler, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Terry?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Haygood, if you'll leave the copies, you don't have to wait on me, or I can sign them now. See there? I knew it. He's got a dinner date, y'all.
I told my wife I wouldn't be home anytime soon, but I guess now.
Go back and tell Daniel, go back, tell John Daniels how efficient this was for you. It's okay. Is he first time chair also?
John, no, he's been in the Patron now, but he's been a commissioner before.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. Glad I passed it.
I'm glad you did too. Okay. Let's see on there. Very back page. If for some reason we need to alter that, just send it back to him. Sir, I greatly appreciate your time and efforts on all this.
Thank you.
I kinda feel like I'm cheating here, getting to leave early.
Take it over.
That's okay, we'll keep Mike late to make up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
It's always been my relationship with Dan.
You can send it to Rick.
We know who's buying lunch tomorrow, Mike. Well, Dan, you're welcome to stay, sir. But if
I got one of these tomorrow night. I think I'll save up all my funds for tomorrow night.
please tell them we said hello.
I will. Thank y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
Sheriff Michael Moore, Madison County Sheriff's Department, this was the topic, we let him leave on a little while ago. This is, Michael is asking for a one-time request to pay for any overtime unable, to be used between now and December 31st. Total equation is gonna around $3,500, and it'll be paid out of the COVID pay.
Vacation time, not overtime.
Vacation time, I'm sorry,
Yes, sir.
vacation time, correct me. I'll ask for a motion to approve or deny.
Mr. Chairman, I move we grant this one-time request as specified for the 5 specific deputies we have listed. The Sheriff's Department.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Chandler, a second by Mr. Kirk. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none? Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. Brother Robbie, Madison County Library Branch Manager. How you doing, young lady?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
Thank you for putting me on the agenda tonight. I have our third quarter report. This is July through September of 2021. And y'all should have a copy of it, so I'll just hit the high notes. The statistics are all, numbers are all up except for curbside, which is down, as we expected. Not a bad thing. In July, we started our inclusive book club, which is for adults with all abilities, in person, and the other adult book club was also held in person. So we're moving back to in-person programming at the library. In August, the Needle Crafters resumed their in-person meeting, and then in September, the Friends hosted the book sale for the first time since the pandemic, and the fall book sale made $3,106.25. All this money comes back into the library to purchase new books for people to check out. The pictures are of donations, community donations. We serve as a collection site for donations. In August, you see Kelsey from the Senior Center. Senior Citizens Day is in August, so that's why we honor them in August. And so we collected donations for their bingo prizes from the community. And the other picture is actually July. I switched them. In July, we were a donation site for Mark's Back to School Drive, and this is the Pilot Club representative donating backpacks to that. The next page, the top picture, is actually our Madison County Needle Crafters. They meet on Tuesday, and they put their prize-winning needlework in the display case at the library after the fair, so that's all their ribbon winnings. For youth programming highlights, third quarter, July was still summer, so we were still participating in the summer feeding program in partnership with the school district. We got the meals, and we're a site for summer meals for students and anybody birth to 18. We had region-wide virtual summer reading program events. And in August, we started doing passive craft programs, so we're not really leading a program, but we have craft materials out for everybody to come and do at their leisure, so that we're not too crowded at once. September, more of that, and Crafts to Go are still popular, and we're pushing tutor.com, which is a resource on our website with homework help, test prep. There's a live chat option during certain hours. People can email certain problems that they're having difficulty with and get a response back with hints on how to get that done. So that's available region-wide. The next page is a picture of State Senator Frank Ginn donated a Georgia flag. Our flagpole out front has some old tattered flags on it. So the Woodman Life always donate the American flag, and I've gotten a Georgia state flag from Frank in the past, and I just asked him for one. So he came through. Several things in other news, but I'm going to talk about staff tonight. Our part-time library assistant, Ashley Graham, applied for and was selected as our new technology specialist, so she moved from part-time to full-time, which is a good move. She started that in August, and she's doing well. We had a part-time library assistant resign, and so we had 2 part-time positions open after that. Interviews were held in September, and both of those have been filled. One with a current, one part-time person moved into another part-time job, and then we hired from outside a new person, and she's doing very well. So we've got really good staff going. The last page is patron stories and patron comments, and me getting the Appalachian Leadership Certificate from Gail Manchin. That was in July, which is why it's in here. I feel like I've talked about that a lot. So, also attached in your packet is my resignation, which is effective December 31st. I've thoroughly enjoyed working in this county, providing library services to the community for the past 16 years. It's been a privilege to work with other county departments and partner with them to provide services from library and whatever they are. You know, we've done all kinds of different things with the senior center, the rec department, the health department, the sheriff's department. And I've been lucky to work with so many good staff that we've had. The quality of staff is phenomenal, especially knowing what we get paid. So I hope that their commitment will be reflected in future budgeting decisions. Library staff and library services are worth every penny that we can invest in them as a community resource. I feel like communities need libraries, and we have one of the best ones here in Madison County. The building's beautiful, the staff are phenomenal, quality resources all the time. That letter is attached. The December calendar is also attached. The two events that I would like to point out is our Veterans Appreciation Tea on December 12th at 4 o'clock tea time. We will have a local veteran there reading selections from his original short stories that he's written about his experiences, and snacks and just a time of fellowship. And on Tuesday the 28th, the Red Cross will be there for a blood drive. I know I always see Mr. Chandler there for that. So,
Just get your.
oh, you can't now. But anything else that you see in the December calendar that you'd like to attend, or if you just want to stop by the library and visit and kind of see what we do and what we provide there, I always encourage people to visit the library, tell everybody to visit the library. And thank you for your time. There's also a participation agreement from the director that was included, and a 3-year salary worksheet, I believe, and then just a flyer about the advantages of being part of a regional library system. So if you have any questions about those things, I'll have to defer to them. But thank you so much.
Well, Miss Ivy, first off, as long as I can remember, you've been at the library.
Yeah, 16
And I would
years.
like to say thank you on behalf of the Board of Commissioners and myself. Thank you very much for a job well done.
Thank you.
You will be missed
Thank you. I will miss
throughout
it.
the community. I hope whatever endeavor you choose to embark on is very exciting and is well served for you.
I hope so too. Thank you.
You deserve it.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
may I speak at this
Sure.
time concerning this?
Sure. Just found out. I just found out, young lady, like Wednesday, before Thanksgiving, before we went out of town. But it was only a hearsay. I didn't hear it officially till just now.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all know that I'm on the library board,
Yes, sir.
and I'm saying this for future reference, folks. You've got a lady here who has put all this time into the library, 16 years. She's been manager for 5 years, and she's not making but in the mid-30s. She should be looked at as a department head. I want y'all to consider what a department head would be making after 16 years of service to the county and 5 being that department head. When y'all look at the budget to reset this, because in my personal opinion, we should not be losing her because of this. And I won't say anything else.
Well, before, I'm gonna try to answer this just real quick for you. Is this the reason you're leaving?
That's part of it.
Okay, because I heard nothing other than, have you heard Jennifer's leaving? So, and I'm like, no, I haven't. So I did not know.
When I had a part-time staff leave for UGA and make what I'm making here, that prompted me to look at UGA, which is where I'm going.
With the agreement that we have with Athens Library System, who sets the,
Y'all do. It's up to each county to set the salaries.
Okay. Now, that I requested in the last meeting here, and I still don't have a copy of it.
It should be.
This is a brand new one to be
Yeah,
filled out.
that is that's a new one, yeah.
I don't have anything, even in here, that says anything about salaries.
Well, what I've got right here is the bylaws from the Athens Regional Library, where it states in here, and this is the only, and I read through these, this is the only thing that it refers to anywhere on that. And it's that, as the regional director, personnel suggest improvements needed in salary and working conditions, which have been done, that utilize the skills and initiative of the individual staff members. But the Georgia Public Library, let's see, their bylaws, public library is supported by funds from local governments on a permanent basis. Special grants, donations, supplements do not supplant the responsibility of the local funding authority to support the library. So that basically says, yes, it's y'all's responsibility to support the library.
Yes, sir, I'm proud that you have those, and I would love to have a copy of
I'm
that.
gonna leave this with y'all.
Thank you, sir. Because to best of my knowledge, we couldn't find anything.
There may not be anything, I'm just saying right now is the time to change it and make sure nothing else goes wrong, nothing else happens. And I think y'all got that, here's a copy of the, 3-year, you got it, okay?
I just gave that to you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
From my understanding, you know, 4 of us now are brand new, but even the 2 before us probably would not have known. We wasn't even sure how that contribution come to be. Did we pay Athens Regional a dollar amount and then Athens Regional disperse that amount as they see fit? We still don't know. Like right now, other than what you just provided, if I said, okay, we're gonna give $100,000 to Athens Regional Library, we don't know how they break that out to y'all. So that's a question and a concern for me. Now, this will help some of it, but I still don't quite understand how Athens Regional does it. What is their involvement in the library if we're furnishing the building and we're furnishing the salaries and we're furnishing the power or whatever? What part of this is Athens Regional, please tell me?
Okay, I can try and answer your questions. I'll be happy to. My name is Valerie Bell, and I am the Athens Regional Library Director. And the participation agreement that I shared, I thought that's what you were asking for the last time. And so it lists the things that the region does. And it lists the responsibilities of the Madison County Board of Trustees. I guess the piece of this that is not in here, that's just assumed, is that the counties fund the library. And so whatever money, every cent that comes in from Madison County either goes out to Madison County or is used as regional services. So things like, that's what I have down here, some of the regional services. For instance, the tutor.com that Jennifer was just talking about, that's a regional service that comes out of the regional budget. So we get a regional budget that all of the counties put into this regional budget, and that's how we fund the Courier, the tutor.com.
That information, that statement that you just made, really all that tells us is the money that Madison County sends into the regional library gets spent. That's really is all that says. We don't have, what percentage of it is dedicated to salaries, what percentage is dedicated to purchase of new materials, what percentage to each of these. So all you said was we send you money and it gets spent.
The money that you sent, the money that is spent, a portion of that goes for the regional piece of
I
that,
get that,
right. And then the other piece of it goes directly to Madison County, to their salaries, to anything that needs to be done or updated or things like that.
So define pieces. Tell me what size. You said a piece goes to regional and a piece goes to Madison County. So
it should be in the budget, which I do have back there. Do you have a copy of the budget? I think it's I think for Madison County it's $16,000 goes to the region.
89.
What is it?
Facility number 89 for our budget.
Oh, okay.
So they can find it.
Well, that's confusing to me. And
And this is
so if I
all,
look at this sheet that y'all handed out, like under current salary, not going into anybody individually, that's a total of $171,548, and we've carried a budget of about $213 for the last several years, and so that's a delta of, $45,000 plus or minus. So $45,000 goes to the regional.
No. All of that money goes to, I did not bring a budget, I'm sorry.
it's an exact same number from 2018, 19, 20, and I've got the budget number and I got the actual number, and it's 213,417 is the number that's been carried forward every year.
Okay.
But to this point, the only information we're given is, here's a budget item for the agreement with Madison County, with the libraries, Athens Regional Library Service. Essentially,
And it's one amount, $1 amount, right. And then the Board of Trustees, the Madison County Board of Trustees, along with the other counties in our region, designate out a certain amount for regional services. And everything else that's given goes directly to Madison County. Their salaries and their supplies and their computer equipment and replacement costs. Some of it
So what
is,
you're saying then is the library board then defines how those dollars that come back are spent?
yeah. They make up a separate budget, an annual budget that we keep every year. And it's a zero-based budget, and that zero-based budget includes the revenues and it includes the expenditures.
Do you have a copy of that budget, or do you?
I did not bring I can't believe it. I thought I had everything. Do you by any chance? I do not have a copy of the most current budget.
So, I'm gonna try to help maybe you understand where we're coming from.
Okay.
So, it's not a personal, nobody's being personal here.
No.
But for one, I think maybe you need to owe an explanation to Judge Rice, because maybe we thought we were paying you $25 an hour, because we paid for that. But we didn't know that you didn't get all of it, because some of it went to regional. When you deal with government money, you have to itemize that breakout list. We cannot give you a lump sum for you to determine what you're going to do with it, because it's taxpayer money. Now, if this was a grant, or if this was anything else, it would be up for you to disperse it. But if we set a price, let's just say Miss Ivy, and I say we're going to pay Miss Ivy $25 an hour, you would have to pay her $25 an hour because we said so. Now, I'm not trying to be derogatory when I say this, but in order for us to accept why this came to be with your agreement and the extension office and other offices, was that line item being so broad. It was just $213,000 in a lump sum, and we didn't know what you were getting paid, young lady, other than we didn't know how they were spending it, because we saw the number of 213, but then I come right here to the very page, and this is what Mr. Doster said, was 171. So $45,000, like Mr. Doster said, we assumed was going to your salary. It's when you give me a piece of paper that says Athens Regional Library System Participation Agreement, and it tells me everything but dollar figure breakout, that's worthless, ma'am.
Okay.
Just saying, if you'll recalculate that and show us that percentage, show that 87% went to salaries and 7% went to travel, food, and gas, or book supplies, then we have an idea how we're spending our taxpayers.
That's no problem. I will email you, I can email it to you tomorrow.
Sure.
I'm looking at it now.
It would answer a lot of questions on behalf of us, and it could potentially have saved this young lady's job.
Well, okay.
Because I'll be honest with you, I'm a little upset that you're leaving. I did not know why. I heard, and then I went and looked, and to Judge Rice, to your comment of how many department heads we have a lot of department heads making about $18, $19 an hour. There are multiple, I promise you. But had I known that 217 or 214 number was not going directly, or going to more things than what it was, we may have been able to look at that a little differently.
It goes to, I can just tell you briefly, it goes to wages and benefits, equipment repair and maintenance, advertising, telephone, travel, postage, printing, supplies and equipment, like computer supplies and equipment. It goes to water, some landscape maintenance, cleaning services, gas, electric. All of those things are paid out of that.
That would have been great information to have up front.
to have the dollar amounts.
The dollar.
I think, okay, I will be happy to forward you the,
And the fact that in this agreement, we're gonna control those.
In many places, the school system also helps support the library. Judge Rice probably remembers this. That ended here over 20 years ago for reasons that are not relevant anymore. And with better information and documentation, the current school board might be willing to do that again.
I fully support that the school board needs to be involved in helping support the library.
You're not gonna get an argument from anybody at this table, sir.
But either way, from where I sit, we approved $1 amount, and it was all of our assumption that based on the dollar amounts we were given, that the salaries would be addressed appropriately. But what we're seeing now is that essentially that dollar amount has been taken out, been presented, and then dispersed outside of the authority, and that's not the way that should be handled.
Ms.
So
Ivy,
do y'all compensate? I'm sorry.
Ms. Ivy, does your check come from Madison County?
no, it comes from
Regional
we use
library.
the money that the Madison County, sends in to Athens Regional, and then it's dispersed that way.
So,
I can share any breakdown of that, that you want.
But you're defining the salary, not us.
The wages and benefits are $176,000 of the 231.
But defined by who? Who defined that?
We did,
That's
based on how much money that we get, and whenever we ask for an increase, I think, part of the problem has been the increases haven't, like maintained, I guess, or stayed with the, cost of living. So while there may be a 3% increase or something like that, that all generally goes to salary. Whatever those increases are, we try and make sure that the staff are getting paid that amount. And the other stuff, that I read off, water and all of that stuff, we try and keep, pretty much the same. We look at it every year and see where we can move some money if something hasn't been expended, or if we've seen a pattern, like, the electricity is going down for whatever reason. I think, Madison, did you guys get the LED lighting? Yes. Okay, so just recently, LED lighting was installed in the branch. So that could have an impact on the electric, next year. And so while we're looking at this, if we see over a course of the few years that the electric has gone down a substantial amount, then we'll transfer. And when I say we, I'm talking about the board and with me, and with the branch manager, we'll review where that funding can go.
So I have to ask this. So if we increase the amount, which I believe the hearing was the implication that you gave, if we were to increase the amount, what guarantee would we have that money would go towards salaries to guarantee that we keep a person like Ms. Ivy on board?
No one is more upset that Jennifer is leaving than I am. She is
one
of the best branch managers that there is.
No, I'm
Whenever
not
we
upset.
submit,
I'm wanting to know how, do we dictate how our money's spent, or if we want to retain, which this board has made a concerted effort this year to retain people in numerous departments. And here again, I'm a little bit concerned because I mean, I can read a budget and see a dollar figure there, but if I had no idea, and forgive me, Miss Ivy, but I had no idea how little you were being paid. I knew how much we were putting in the kitty, but this part of it, I'd like to see the additional information you said you could provide.
I will send that to you, tomorrow morning, first thing, or else I'll send it, tonight. The monies, whenever we submit a budget to you all, it has the breakdown.
So who did, so.
It has the breakdown, it should be in the budget, every year annually.
Well, let me ask, Harry, do you have a copy of the budget? I mean,
I should have it at the house, not with me.
okay, and showing the breakdowns of how all this, our contribution was broken down?
It should be, yes.
Okay.
And you may have sent it in, this is
And
all
that-
I see.
Right, that may,
Okay.
that, if that's all you see, but when we submit a budget to any of the Board of Commissions, it's a budget, it's a list of what we expect to spend and how we expect to spend it.
Okay.
And because it's a contract for services, really, right? I mean, generally, Mike, we pay a payment and they disperse it.
Should be, I mean, the state, you know, there's not a lot of law on this. It's more of a budgeting thing that's all handled by intergovernmental agreements and contracts. And this particular, I was just looking at it, I hadn't seen it before either. So look at, on the back page, on your 6th and 7th bullets. The 6th one is the Board of Trustees shall agree to an equal distribution, and the 7th one is the Regional Library Office will, it says access, I think that's supposed to be assess participation fees. So this suggests that we're sort of binding our local board to just sort of accept whatever the regional library system tells them they're going to assess.
It hasn't, we have not, we raised the general, cost for participation, I think by $2,000 about 3 years ago. And it has not been raised since, that was the only time that it has been raised since I've been the director.
How many
So
branch managers do you have?
There are 11.
11 branch managers. Now, with that being said, of the 11 branch managers, give or take the years of service, do you all have a starting pay? Because we don't dictate that. Do you have
We can't dictate that. That's
Who does?
part, the
That's part of the
board.
confusion.
Because the
So
board,
So are they
everybody
all
has a
roughly the
different
same
amount of money.
Roughly? They all, the
No,
branch
everybody
managers?
has a different amount of money. All of the counties have a different amount, so
Is
they're
it because
they're
of the
people.
size and the
The
funding?
size, full-time, part-time, if I remember right, say, the Winterville Library is just open part-time, correct?
Correct.
And some of the others, Bethune also, so you've got that, and it has to be looked at for the services that are being provided by the staff. This is full-time, Royston's full-time, this is Livonia full-time,
Yes, it's one person for
One
both of
person.
those in Franklin County, yeah.
one person.
Just so I can, clarification here, so, Harry, I guess I'm asking you, because locally, if the board can set the salaries, right? That's what you're saying, because if we contribute $213, they can decide what portion of that goes, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so, now, I just want to see,
I don't think that's exactly right.
that's not exactly right, but what I wanna ask Harry, did you realize that y'all had any input to increase Jennifer's salary at any
We
time?
have put some in. We have requested that at times. I have not seen what Mike brought up here, except when we discussed it.
Okay.
But that's where the
What-
request comes in annually, we ask for that increase. You know, for what I believe is that, the increases that we've been getting and what we've been asked for, just especially in this day and time, in the country, it's just not matching what people want.
So if that board requested it, then, but you can option if you see the numbers there, if it doesn't balance out, then you may not add it to salaries, you, put it in other allocations, is that correct?
Generally, if it doesn't add out, usually it does. We're really very good at it. So, usually it does, come out almost even, with the salary. But a salary is a salary, that's a constant. you can't undo somebody's salary, so we're very careful about saying, yes, you can get this raise.
What I'm trying to really get at is did anybody ask for an increase in Jennifer's salary during this time period?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay? And for whatever reason, it never got to that point, right?
Right.
How many years?
5 years, 2 raises.
Okay. And so, from my standpoint here on the board, and I'm just being totally honest, I've been here, this is my 3rd year. This is the first time I know of any indication that our funding was not enough to, if the increases were asked for, why those increases weren't added to her salary. Nobody has brought that to my attention. So I understand that what you're saying is they could have done that. Now, Mike here is saying it might not necessarily be that easy to do.
I don't recall in 21 years the Board of Commissioners ever denying a budget request for the library.
Right.
So apparently either adequate raises weren't in what was being requested, or it was denied at some level before it got here.
Right. So yeah, that's my understanding is the 3 years I've been here, I don't know of any request to increase that. Why we were increasing it, asking to increase salaries. I don't remember that. I don't know.
A suggestion that I can make, and it may settle some of this, is from now on, we need, when the budget request comes in, it's not just salaries, lighting, all that, salaries. Break it down. We need to break it down.
I agree.
Y'all can,
I'm gonna make this request right now, and I think I can direct it, and I think there's 4 other people up here would agree, that what we look at from a budget standpoint has got nothing to do with you, but I'm looking at 2 line items.
Right.
One says a payment to you, and then extermination services. So I think the due diligence, that the breakdown in what's provided to us to review needs to match the other departments.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Which would break down director salary separately, staffing, water utility, other supplies, and we could see that across the board, and hopefully anybody that's sitting in this chair next year and for future don't have this.
So you want to see everybody's salary separately?
Absolutely.
Salary and everything separately. Everything that's in that, and what's requested, we ought to see broken down into every area, including if you're putting LED lights in there. If we're paying for that, then let's
You said you submitted something that had power and all that kind of stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
That either needs to be resent, or somebody needs to dig that out of the trash.
It never got here.
Yeah, we have.
It may have went to the finance director, but I just didn't see it. This is all I've got.
Here's the struggle I have with this, and this is in intergovernmental agreements. Obviously, it get a little sketchy, but if I compare this one to the extension office, in the intergovernmental agreement, that's 3-way. That's county, that's UGA, and that's also federal. It's very specific on who belongs to what. The portion that is assigned to the county is facilities, transportation, and they're very specific of what we're assigned to. The salary, the portion of that, there may be a county supplement that we can add, but the salary portion of that for the extension positions, that is UGA funded. So I am not accountable for somebody's pay rate. Here I'm sitting right here, and I feel like we've done Miss Ivy and Miss Justice, but we hadn't had an opportunity to do anything about it. And it's a strange and different relationship than that position. And we got to clear that up, because there's no question in my mind we've done a disservice here to the county by letting this proceed like this.
Sure. Would it be just so that we can educate ourselves a little bit also on where we're at as a county in a function? Could we take, for want of a better thing, the interaction or transaction records that we have here that Ms. Ivy provided, and how many counties do y'all serve?
5 counties.
5?
Mm-hmm.
And discount Athens Regional because it is so large, but could you compare what our library has done with the other 4 and just send us so that we've got some notion of what we're doing compared to where the other counties are
As
at?
far as funding is concerned?
No, as far as the services that they
Yeah.
provide, you know, and I think it would give us a better understanding then of where we should be at, to retain employees like this, because, and here again, the interaction that we've had with you coming before us has all, and if I'm wrong, please, but it's all been of a very positive nature, and I was not aware that there was an issue regarding salary, and here again, I guess I heard one day last week that you were leaving to go to UGA, and,
It's a convoluted mess, I'll be honest with you.
yes,
You
it is.
ask for a raise, you don't ask us for a raise, you ask the board for a raise, and the board says, well, we have to call the county and see if they'll give you a raise, and if they'll give you a raise, we'll give you a raise. That's a mess, guys. I mean,
That's
And
how
then
it
we write
is.
the check and turn loose.
yeah, but,
That's right.
exactly. And you have no teeth in it, so.
Right.
And every county does this.
Yeah, that's how the
Every
county.
county does this, all 5 of them.
Yeah, and so, there's
We
been
can't be
no,
the only one questioning
Every
this.
library.
yeah, there's been no awareness from our standpoint that we were lacking in any area with the library. I mean, you know, it's like as Denny said, it's been like, you know, all the positive stuff. The negative stuff we're just now finding out about in the salaries and what other services maybe that somebody else is offering that we could offer and that our funding needs to increase. But, you know, I want to see that broken down, just like you said, broken down into every item. You know, what is the dollars that if we're giving 213, where's that 213? I want to know where every one of those pennies went.
Not just ones come back here, but that other portion of it.
Yeah, that other that's what I'm saying, the 213, because not the 178.
Right.
The 213, I'd like to know where that 213 is. You know, there ought to be accountability there to know where every one of those pennies went. And, you know, I guess I'm an accounting major to start off with. I've done a lot of different stuff, but an accounting major, and it ought to be there somewhere.
It is, and, you know.
But we don't see it. We don't see it. And I know that I'm not saying it's your fault that we don't see it. It's just that over these years, we haven't seen it. And we just need to.
I'm sorry to hear that, because we prepare it every year.
All right. So I don't know where that got.
Let me help you out a little bit.
I'm sure I have a record of it in my emails going to Kathy Figueroa.
That'll be fine. You just shoot me that over, that'll help a lot of this.
Have there been requests that the BOC denied?
Yeah.
Yeah, there have been in the last, was that 2021? Was it the beginning of this year? Was it the beginning of last year?
At the beginning of this year, you
No,
asked
it
for
was at the
7,000
beginning of
more, and I
last year
left it
then.
alone because I'm like, why is there an increase? I've got to question you about this, and that's why we're having this. That's the only one I'm.
I was under the impression that Mike Moak was coming with, budget requests to the county. I've only been involved in the budget
Okay.
request process for the last 2 years.
So,
And I am not supposed to advocate for wages for myself or my staff. That's the board of trustees' responsibility.
and I respect that.
So,
Yeah.
I started helping with the budget request within the last 2 years. And the last one, the email trail was myself and Mike Moak and Kathy Figueroa, and it was denied. I'll have to go back to the emails, it was denied, and then I got an email from, or a letter from Tracy Dake, who is at HR, saying that we were not county employees.
Now, I don't know anything
There
about
were-
this, but this opens up a whole nother can.
Right.
So
And
it just
I
does.
can find all of that because I don't delete any
And-
emails.
And from my personal, I'm just doing it personal, not from the board.
Mhm.
I apologize that I did not understand this.
Oh, I
And
understand. It's
I'm
y'all-
not saying that you didn't send it, but evidently it has not
Yeah, we
come
have been-
before us, this board, in the
Yeah.
3 years I've been here.
It's
And I'm
been
sure Derek knows
supposedly
that
being
too. We
worked
haven't
on.
not seen
There's
it.
been
We had
a lot of
discussion
work.
a couple of months ago, you know, this whole organizational scheme came up, and some of this was discussed. Now,
But it just hit me too, that the comment saying we're not county employees,
Right.
forgive me, this may not be correct, may be, but
going back to, again, not asserting that anybody's doing anything wrong, but, for example, if we gave a county employees a blanket 3% raise, and technically, and I'm using the word technical, if that did not transfer over because you are a state of Georgia employee, because of that may have been a determination of staff. I don't know. I'm just saying that we can do better on communications.
That's right.
And I'll be happy to. But I was under the impression, that, and it's in the bylaws, that when we submit, the business manager and I, and Toby now, and Jennifer, will sit down and say, okay, what's it looking like? What can we do? What do we need? That's presented to the board, and the chairman of the board presents that to you all. But it is a full line item budget.
Good deal.
Okay.
So,
Sounds
just
good.
so you know where this started, there's a couple of other departments that was very similar to this. And man, when you talk about regionally, and we're looking into this also, is a lot like the DA's office. There's 5 counties that pays a pool, and then that pool of money gets spread out.
Right.
But we don't really control that. And so that's when I asked for contracts, because I'm trying to see where we're at, because 4 out of the 6 are brand new, and the other 2 is almost brand new. So we're all trying to wrap our heads around, what have we done for 20 years, and is it right, and do we have documentation to show it? So I know you're catching daggers at you, but just be honest, we're all trying to learn and figure out where we're at, so we can fix it and move forward.
And I
Jennifer,
appreciate
I hope your time frame's not nailed in stone, but if it is, I still wish you the best.
I appreciate everything that you're saying. This has been difficult to get the funding, but for the most part, and what I shared with you is a 3-year possible 3-year
yes.
Salary with their names and what it is exactly that they do to get them up to what I said was $15. The first year would be to stop the bleed. And it's my understanding, I talked to Jennifer and Toby and some other people, that like McDonald's and Subway and, are starting at $10 an hour. And the only thing that we can afford when we do all the other stuff is the $8 an hour.
And there is a difference between private, public, and taxpayer.
Yes,
So,
yes.
And the reason I say that is because we have multiple employees at $9 an hour, and we're trying to address those. I promise you, we are. And again, our funding's limited too. There's not a pool that we can keep pulling from the same as you can. You don't have a pool to be able to fund her.
Correct.
But with the correct information, we can make good decisions that could have potentially avoided this situation. All right? So just give me a minute, pump the brakes. Let's get some documentation.
All right, I will send to you, or are you sending it? They can work together, but okay.
Yeah.
You'll get it tomorrow.
Somebody give me something.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, Judge.
I will,
Ms. Ivy.
I'll go through my paperwork and see what I have that may help you also.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you,
Right
Judge.
now.
Sir.
Ma'am, is this contract you give me, is this the exact contract everybody gets?
That is, I started working here 7 years ago, and it's my understanding that that is a new sort of contract that I had gotten from GPLS and just changed it around to fit the specific incident, specifically Madison.
I would really appreciate if I could have a contract from the other 4, so I can make sure we're all apples to apples.
I still have to do them for the
Oh,
other 4. Apparently that the participation agreements weren't,
That worries me also, but not on y'all's back, on our back.
that was, yeah.
Thank you.
Handshake and a whim.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all be safe.
Ladies. Thank you, Judge.
Thomas Smallwood, Information Technology. Well, I did not never believe that was going to take that long. But it is good information. It seems to me like everybody's done a handshake for years.
understand more about less.
I would second that.
So.
All right, Thomas,
How's
give us an
everybody
update, brother.
Good.
I'm hot. Well, internet heat turned up too much.
You need to be off tomorrow.
Yeah.
You gotta decorate the floor.
I know.
She's not felt well all day, but she stuck it out.
All right.
Hey guys, I got a quote for a camera system. Several departments, mostly rec, has asked for cameras for their department because
Mostly who?
like
Rec
rec
department.
department, road department, and the food bank as well. We've had several vandalism going on, like splash pads, brand new, somebody's already tore it up. Some of these things, I've asked Shelley for a list. Some of them are pretty serious things that has happened, and you know, guys, they've asked 2 or 3 times on it. Since we've had the fiber put in, we can link everything back to here, put it on our system here that's on a battery backup and a generator system as well. Now, in the quote that you guys have, there's also...
I don't know that they have it.
Oh, they didn't get
I
that?
forgot to print them.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
I actually forgot. That's my bad. You can go ahead and just tell them the numbers as you go.
Yeah, I
Do you
can,
need to make copies of it?
Well, it's just for discussion anyway, but go ahead and just briefly run across them. We'll leave them on my hard copy.
yeah, there's a couple of things in here too. We'd like to add in some of our buildings with our fiber campus. And one of them, we're looking at the library. They pay about $1,300 a month for internet. They could come off of our internet. We could take that money, recycle it back into people's salaries or whatever on it, you know?
I knew this was gonna be a good topic. And by the way, introduce Albert back there. He's the guy that put the fiber.
How y'all doing?
You can come up, cause you're gonna have to help him explain anyway.
And we've got some stuff from like even the health department, about $650 a month that they're paying. And we could cut out most of that as well. You know, that's just kind of a bonus of doing this. But the total breakdown is $27,765.54, and that is adding in cameras at the rec department, the food bank, the maintenance building, the road department, splash pad, soccer field, Diamond Hill Park. Diamond Hill gets hit pretty bad. And then, where's that other one? Yeah. Mize, okay, Mize in there.
So,
Yes, sir.
that's about 28,000 is what you,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And how many total cameras is on
yeah, that's
that?
what I was gonna ask.
On this right here, you've got, what, 54 cameras? 54 cameras. And we've come up with several ways to not have to tear up the parking lots. You know, we've talked to people before, and they want to come in and cut up the parking lots, but we've got a workaround for that. You know, we want to use a kind of the same system we use here, so everybody's familiar with it. And then if we used a centralized system, then people could monitor it. You know, the rec department could watch kind of the road department. If the road department's there, then kind of watch the rec department. If we have a big event, we could even hand that off to, you know, law enforcement if they wanted to watch. If we have like a big sporting event or something.
So I understand, you got 54 cameras, they're on multiple displays, or they rotate through them, or something like that?
Well, we can break that down, like each department could have their own cameras. And as a whole, if somebody's just bored, they can watch all the cameras. Or we can hand that off to a department, you know, 911 or something like that, if they want to look at it. Like I say, if there's a big event or something, you know, someone could watch that rather than tying up a bunch of officers sitting over there.
How many days of storage of video do you have?
Well, we can kind of go any way with that. We can add more, you know, more hard drives. We can add a external storage device, like a NAS device or something like that to add into that. But generally, I say 30 days.
Right.
Yeah. If something happens, you're probably gonna know about it in a couple of days, not, you know, 30 days later, you know, oh, something happened.
So is 30 days included in that 28,000 storage?
That's what we usually shoot for, yes,
Yeah.
sir. And we, you know, that right there is kind of generalized because most of these cameras record motion, and if there's a lot more motion, then there's a lot more recording,
Right.
cuts down the time. Like the camera system we have here is usually about 60 to 90 days, and it's roughly 48 cameras that we have here.
I got you.
So we're getting a good amount of time out of that. And if we find it's too short, we can just pop another hard drive in there and keep on going with it. But I can get you a list of this if you wanna make some copies of this, we can hand that out, or if you guys would rather have an email, we can shoot that as well.
Yeah, I've got the email, I'm sorry, I forgot to shoot it to them, but I'll shoot it to them in the morning.
But this right here, we have a total breakdown of what it's gonna cost at each location, the dollar amounts, and the total amount of cameras, how much is gonna have to put into it, so, it's pretty cheap, you know, Albert's helped us out here, he's a citizen of Madison County. You know, he's
And
kinda.
they're powered units, they're not battery?
No, sir, they're gonna be PoE.
Power over Ethernet, they're gonna be powered by the main system.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
2728 is a turnkey job.
And so on the 30 days in keeping that, the recording or whatever, and it's gonna be fairly easy to go in and look at that as far as if you know sort of a time frame. This is the day, it's very easy to go in and look at it with this system.
Yes, sir, I can actually give you a demo if you would like, and come in one day and sit down and give you a demo of it.
No, I just want to ask, I mean, it's
Yeah, it's usually like a two-step process. You go in there, you pick the times, or you can actually select a location on the camera, and it goes back, shows you any kind of movement at that time. And then you just go there and pick a little red spot that shows movement, click one spot, the start time, drag it over to the end time, right-click, export video. You can export it to an AVI or MP4 format. And then you can either email that or put it on USB drive or whatever with it.
so this system, I guess what I'm getting at, this system for 28,000 with 54 cameras is at least state of art for what we want to do for what our need is, I guess.
Yes, sir. What I like to do is I like to use a system called Digital Watchdog. Once you buy a license, you get lifetime you get lifetime upgrades on that license. So if they come out with a new version, you get that to install on the camera system. So it's not set in stone. Once you buy it, it's 2021 technology. And then next year, you know, they come out with something new. So this right here is you just download the new version and download the new version, just keep going. And if that server goes down, we take those licenses, pull them off of it, put a new server in, import the license back on there. You still have your 54 number there.
And it's easy to add to, I guess you could add to.
Yes, sir, you just buy a license as you go. It's roughly $100 per license.
One of the reasons we talked about this is, you know, with soccer come over 300 kids, 9 times out of 10, that's potentially 400 cars, 500 cars, depending on if both parents rode together or not. And if an accident happened in the rec department right now, we can pull it up and say, all right, there's your car, there's your tag number, vice versa. The clarity on these can read tag numbers. And then the splash pad has been broken into several times. Had a camera there, we could have saw that. Diamond Hill, et cetera, et cetera. Mainly, one of my biggest concerns is kids jumping the fence, somebody gets hurt, and insurance liability, we say, look, no, he didn't slip and fall, he jumped the fence. It's just the world we live in. We went through it with the Sheriff's Department a minute ago. Cameras is the best bird's eye view you can get right now. And I do know you were talking about this, if the board chooses not to do all the areas at one time, we could do rec department cameras, include splash pad, and then we can drop back and do the maintenance shop if we choose to at a different price.
Yes,
That's
sir.
why the price
It's kind of
on the sheets
modular
broke out.
on the price here.
Yeah, we can pick and choose on this deal.
If the system you proposed feel like covers these problem areas, is it gonna cover everything, or are you primarily addressing these problem areas?
Well, we're going to address what they really want first, and then anything else is kind of a bonus off of that. And if we find that, you know, they want to cover, like the road department's got a bunch of diesel and gas getting stolen, we can either add another camera, move a camera over, or something like that. We've kind of, this right here has added a little bit more, because they'll ask, and then, you know, we just say, well, if we add an extra camera here, that'll cover people coming in and out, so you get them coming in and out. So now you catch them stealing gas, and then you see if how they came in and out, and then you get a better description of the vehicle.
We have no way to monitor that at the road department right now.
Same to me, and here again, I have to fall back on one of Mike's comments, I believe I've used before. You know, we don't have to get all the way into the 21st century, but, you know, it'd be nice to get close to the end of the 20th. You know, and with the facts that were presented to us tonight, that our sheriff's department are short-staffed. But, you know, that we don't have a person to put at every location at every event. this is just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Well, this is a just discussion night only. We'll vote on this at the end of the month. But I am glad that you came tonight. For one, I want the board to be able to ask you any questions about the fiber system while you're here, because you ran it. It's up and running. Derek may know more, him and these two, or y'all three may know more about the gigs and the megs than I do. They had to do it by speed limit for me, so I would understand how fast we're going now. But I did use your description a minute ago with description with Michael Moore about the uploading of the video cameras and the time, how much faster it is.
One other question though is, how long would it take you to actually do it? If we did all of it, how long would that take as far as?
Honestly, I got a little bit of work at the road department. at the road department, they've got two separate buildings. The best scenario in this is getting fiber connection from one building to the next. So I've got to pull the fiber under that building. Not much. I'm actually donating the fiber itself to do that portion. The SFPs are in that quote, but that's pretty much standard there. Those things are relatively cheap. But I'm gonna donate the fiber to put that in there because I want the highest transmission for the cameras to get back to the county. So there's gonna be some work there, probably 2 to 3 weeks on that particular job, just because I want it to be right. Once we get through with that, the rest of the building shouldn't take that long. The fiber's already in place. We'll put the switches in. Shouldn't take long at all. I'd say probably a month and a half.
To complete the whole
kit and caboodle.
But now getting to Diamond Hill, for instance, I know this is gonna come with how you're gonna read the cameras there.
Well, there's
We don't have fiber.
that one there we actually toyed with a little bit, and I think our best option till, I'm gonna actually start building fiber in the county myself. Will it take me a week to get down there? No. So for now, what we can do is we're gonna put a network video recorder inside that particular Diamond Hill. We're gonna put one in there, so if something comes up, we can go in there, we can video record it, see what's going on, we can download it, have everything right there. These cameras have colored night vision. I've literally got one sitting in my house that I've been messing with, and I love it. It's got audio, it's got video, it will literally do everything. I've actually ordered another set just to put around my house. My kids are nervous.
Right.
You know, we're gonna watch and see exactly what happens, but it's been really great. I mean, this thing actually will detect the face of whoever's in front of it and copy their facial image, and it'll actually unlock my front door because I have an electrical lock. Not sure I like that portion, but, you know, we're not putting that portion in.
Right.
But it is very, very clear. They're 4K cameras, and that is great. So once we get down there with closer to the fiber side, we'll probably trunk it right back to the courthouse, and you'll have a visibility of those in no time.
Well, and that, the reason I was asked the question, I just wondering how long a term it was, but if it's a month and a half to get something up and running, that's really quick.
You're also gonna put up signs as well.
That's correct. We by law, we need to put up signs, that way people can't go, well, I didn't know I was being recorded, and start that. So we need to definitely put up signs as well.
That also should maybe be a deterrent.
It'll help.
Can I ask one quick?
Sure, always.
Annual or monthly maintenance, is there any kind of maintenance contract with it? I know I've had some other clients who had these standalone video recorders. That's what triggered in my mind. And nobody bothered to go check, and the battery had died or something, you know, and the video, the one time we needed the video, it wasn't there because it hadn't been maintained.
No, this has no licensing, nothing along those lines. The only thing that we would probably need to do is change out every 3 years, the hard drive in it, and they're not expensive. We can get, you know, these drives for about $50 in some place.
We're going to come back up this, talk to the insurance provider and see how much of a break we got.
Yeah, it'll probably make a difference. I will, we'll contact you. All right. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Albert, always thank you for everything you've done for the force of the donations, all the hard work that you and you guys have put in. We really appreciate all of it.
Thank y'all. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for allowing us to come here.
Just me being me.
Just you being you. Quickly, Chairman's report, I'm not going to get too in-depth with it. Department of Health, I had a meeting the other day with those. I think it was on the 17th of the month. Since COVID started, we've had 4,239 confirmed cases, 69 confirmed COVID deaths. Madison County positivity rate is 2.8 through November 17th. Madison County has administered 156 vaccinations. 28,000, yeah. 47% one dose, 43% fully vaccinated, which is, according to our DPH, Dr. Goggins has said that actually our county is leading compared to a lot of surrounding counties. The largest age group for the vaccination is 75 to 84-year-olds. They've started doing flu shots now. I think 528 flu shots have been administered. Comprehensive plan pre-proposal meeting held November 22nd. We have 3 consults that attended. The RFP is due December 9th by 3 p.m. I don't remember their names. We have their business cards, but I forgot their names. Christmas with the Cop, Madison County Sheriff's Department is accepting donations until December 10th. The Rec Department is accepting letters to Santa until December 10th. You can mail these, P.O. Box 248, Danielsville, Georgia. Also, we are awarded $6,000 for an ACCG employee safety grant to be used towards courthouse security. Scott down here done a good job in getting that together, and we've submitted the amount, and we got our $6,000. It is being implemented currently. Friday, November 19th, Sheriff Michael Moore and the Tax Commissioner Lamar Bond set up a little food thing outside, cooked hot dogs. Actually, Lamar Dalton grilled hot dogs for everybody and hamburgers, and they had $225 in cash donations and canned food to come in. There's a whole lot more, but it's a long night, so we'll just skip the rest of it. Statement remarks for citizens on the agenda items. Hearing none. What, lead you on? All right.
For the illness. I don't know if I made copies at the Allen West office this morning for their LMID project list.
Do you want to, go back and grab those right fast, and I will,
Yep.
Are we voting on it tonight?
yeah, I think we have to, just to get it submitted. They can change. We just put some on there, but they can change.
Yeah.
Just something for submission.
They commented at the booth down in Savannah that they were at, that they didn't have ours, and they were waiting on it.
Yeah.
So
Well, we were putting,
I told them, yeah, we know that.
yeah, we were trying to get this survey somewhat done, and we actually called him in, and he come and rode some of the roads with us, and he said, this will just get you started, this will match your LMAG. Considering he was ex-DOT, I figured he knew what he was doing.
On the roads, I would like to say, I took the opportunity a couple of days ago during a long weekend to ride some of the roads over my district, and the 3 repairs that were made by the contractor that we use, I certainly appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, for these all were on washouts,
Yeah.
and those guys did a good job.
We had a total of 11 washouts, and they were completed last Tuesday and Wednesday. So before we get into LMAG, I'm going to try to, because Robin got to be working in the morning in here also, and I don't want him to come in sleepy. Let's just swap 5 and 6. Consider request for proposal for personal business property audit. You know, we discussed this a couple weeks ago, and I told you that I would reach out to the Board of Education, which I did sit down with Michael Williams, and I did sit down with Byron Lee, and we talked about this. Felt pretty positive about it. I was informed today that the Board of Education does not feel comfortable with contributing any money towards this. They do have another meeting, because I asked, would you like me to proceed tonight, or would you like me to put it off to your next meeting? And they felt that we could probably just go ahead on our own. But, with that being said, Robin?
That pretty much sums it up. I think all the questions have been answered up to this point, with everything y'all have asked me. We're still looking at the trailer business services, which is, account-based rather than, tailored, which is $1,000 more or less per account for almost 700 accounts. So big difference in the cost between those two. Trailer is half the cost of Taylor. If you want to proceed with it, we can have trailer write up the contract where it's a 3-year contract, but it can be terminated after the first year if you don't see any return, or if you don't see the return that you want to see out of it. Their estimates are, I think, $130,000 the cost per year for the 3 years. The first year return is a little over $300,000. So, now, granted, 55% of that will go to the school.
Don't start, Robin.
Yeah, and I'm very disappointed in that.
Well,
So am I.
remember, the school does pay 2.5% back as the commission, so they're probably looking at it. That could be one way they're looking at it.
We heard about that.
I bet you did.
Robin explained to him. Boy.
I had a conversation with Michael Williams, it's been 3 weeks ago, when this came up. And, from what I gathered from him is there's not an opposition to them paying their portion. And he expressed a lot of the same sentiment I did, that he's just uncomfortable with the whole process. He feels like it's presenting an unfriendly, a statement of we are not trusting those folks that are already paying the taxes to us. So he was just very uncomfortable with the whole concept in general. Not so much the lack of cost sharing, but he was just very uncomfortable with the concept.
You know, enmity between the Board of Education and the Board of Commissioners in a general sense is what led to the Board of Education no longer funding the public library over 20 years ago. And I sense the climate's different now, so even if they're not willing to participate here, there may be other places that the two boards can work together.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think there wasn't any animosity there. It was just a concern about the process and the message that it sends to the businesses and the community that are already contributing so much.
Yeah.
And we tried to clear those questions up by it will not affect those businesses, and it should not send the message due to the fact we're only going to look at things above 50,000 and things that's out of the ordinary above 50,000. For somebody that has $6 million worth of investment and claims $33,000 a year worth of inventory, he's probably going to get questioned. But there was some different, the understanding differences of what 2.5% did, and you had to clear that up with them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody knows what the 2.5% is. That's just for Lamar to collect taxes for the school. Anything over and above that would not be included in that 2.5%. If Lamar didn't collect tax, the school would have to collect their own tax. It costs, yeah, I mean, and I'm sure it would be a headache for them, because I don't know of anybody, you know, like we spoke, that doesn't have kids in school who's going to run to the school to pay their taxes.
Well, and Lamar does them a good job. I mean, he could levy up to 6%.
He could.
And he chooses not to. And we do have a good relationship with them. And I feel like, you know, more understanding that they were only able to, I didn't go to their meeting, but I would like to have been able to answer any questions for them. And it'd be the same for this board. If we had questions, or if y'all have questions, that's why Lamar, or Robin's here, is to what are we sending? What message are we sending? And hopefully we can try to answer that before you make this vote. Financially, we know for a fact that we have problems in the county. Absolutely, there's no problem. But now, to the extent, is it a 90-10? Does 90% of the people do the right thing? Does the 10% do the wrong thing? I couldn't tell you, but we know there's 700 accounts.
And it actually is a state requirement that we do audits. We have to do audits. And we do small desktop audits because that's about all my staff is qualified to do. They're not CPAs. We have gotten away with it so far. We get a 3-year review. The state comes in every 3 years, reviews the county. They review everything we do, go through every procedure we have. So far, we've been good with it because we have been able to do the small desk audits. I don't know how long we'll be able to get away with it, but I'm sure at some point they're going to want to see something a little bigger than a $100,000 audit, a $50,000 audit. And as far as anybody, you know, feeling like we're picking on certain taxpayers, we're not trying to pick on anybody. We're just trying to meet the requirements from the State Department of Revenue.
Put that in big bold print, whatever you print.
And that's the reason that the Board of Assessors do have subpoena power on the audits. I mean, if we weren't required to do them, there would be no need for the board to have a subpoena power.
Now, any questions for Robin? Any other questions for Robin? So I'll ask for a motion to approve or deny to enter into an agreement with Taylor Business Services for a personal property valuation program audit. Or table it. If y'all feel like we need more information, we need to. There's that third option.
Would it be possible to have a representative from Trailer to come in and talk to us just a little bit about this, Rob?
I can get in touch with the owner of the company is Brian Trailer. I can get in touch with Brian and see if he would be willing to either come himself or send a representative.
Well, yeah, a company representative would be fine, but I guess I'd like to.
And I'm sure he wouldn't have a problem with that. This wouldn't be the first county that they probably had to come in.
I think it would make everybody feel a little more comfortable.
Okay, he'll be able to go in a little more in depth in there.
If he could bring a form of whatever they use that would show us what, when they do, I guess you'd call it some type of forensic audit, the things that they would be looking for and how they would assign value to it, just so we got a little bit better understanding of that.
Yeah, I can reach out to Brian. I'll try to get him it'll probably be the last meeting of the year.
Maybe the 29th.
20th.
20th.
The 20th? Okay, and if he's gonna be in town,
If
maybe out
not,
there for holidays.
it would be best if we went into the 1st of January work session, that we can come and speak freely.
We can do that.
All right.
Okay, I'll get with you on when that is.
That's January the 3rd.
Okay.
So because nobody has made a motion, it dies, correct? Mike?
That's right, yeah, it's just, yeah, it just dies. You can either postpone it to a date certain if you know that's when you want to do it, or you can just let it die, let the chairman put it back on when it's appropriate.
Thank you, sir. We'll reschedule it for 1st of January.
Okay, that sounds good.
Robert, when you're gathering this information, just one of the things I would like to know, and like to have an explanation for, is if the bulk of the basis of our looking for discrepancies is comparing what somebody files on their federal tax form, their inventory there, what they report in the inventory on their local tax return, if that's the basis for our finding discrepancies and then digging further, I don't understand why that's a difficult thing for us to do in-house, and identifying those and then being very specific and going back and looking at those if that's going to be the primary tool.
Well, it's a little more in-depth than just the inventory because you also have machinery, equipment, furniture, and fixtures that they
But
file.
those are depreciable items that are filed in that's in their federal tax return.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're also filed in the county, and the business property tax is filed with you. So you're going to take a look at those, you're going to compare them. And if the federal government is accepting that and accepting theirs, and if it's the same as ours, then we're done. But if it's different, then there's a discrepancy, then
Actually, I think that's an exception. I don't think you can subpoena their federal tax returns. You can subpoena their internal books and lots of other things, but not their federal tax returns.
And we don't get those.
So where does the
for return.
What is the basis for, the audit? Where does
The internal books.
They go back 3 years.
I mean, it's just an accounting thing. It's just like doing an audit. It's like somebody goes in and does an audit, but they have they can go do that. I mean, legally,
Yeah, they still have a general ledger where that
Yeah.
shows the depreciation and assets.
And it's gonna show all the assets.
Plus, you can subpoena if they've done a bank loan and supplied financial information, financial statement to a bank, you can subpoena that. There are lots of sources you can get it from.
Yeah, they wouldn't really look at the federal return anyway, because the federal return's gonna be just it's gonna have it all condensed anyway. They gonna look at the ledgers, cause that's where all the accounting stuff is.
It should be on depreciation schedules, the information should be on depreciation
Well,
schedules.
but not in a huge, large, not like GRP's not gonna have everything listed. A smaller business would, but.
And they may not return everything to us that's actually on the ledger. And that would be one thing that Trailer would be looking for, is to match up what they're returning to us to what they actually have in their books.
Yeah, for instance, my store, it's stated, I can come down to Robin's office and he says, what do you got? And I said, well, I got $30,000 worth of inventory, even though my computer printout shows it's $300,000. He's billing me for $25,000.
And we do request detailed listings, but we seldom get detailed listings.
Because if it's a state law though, that takes it to a whole new level. I mean, as far as what a requirement to do, then it becomes not a moral choice or a voter's choice as much as it is we gotta follow state law. So I don't know, you might want to tell your time frame on that.
I think like what you're saying is for somebody to come in, or Denny to come in and talk to us about it, a better understanding. And also, I think what it's gonna wind up being is that most of the smaller ones are not gonna be issues. It's only gonna be the larger ones in the county that we know have large, several buildings and what's in those and those kind of things, you know.
Yeah, but over a certain value.
Right, which, y'all don't really have any expertise to handle those at all, I mean.
No.
All right.
Okay.
January.
All right. Thank you.
Sir. Consider 2022 LMIG projects. The ones you see before you here is the ones that was left off of last year's paving project, and it was due to there just wasn't enough money to pave them all, and or needed more work than we could financially get done, and or manpower get done in the time frame of needing patching, like for instance Timberland Drive. So that's why Alan started with those, and then he put a future list down below it. And everybody agrees that the LMIGs can be changed. We just need a dollar figure to work with at the end. I think it totals up to be about 1.4. 1.1 million.
Yeah, and that's about average what we do,
Yeah.
what we did last year. So the future T-SPOS LMIG list, this is not in any particular order. This is from you guys, what y'all have turned in, what y'all have communicated to Todd and to Alan. So that's where that 2022 LMIG is a priority list for Alan that him and Todd come up with. And on the far right-hand side, that we did rough estimates based off of numbers Alan has got in the past, road projects that he's done similar to that. So that roughly adds up to 1.1 million, which is what we submitted last year. And I know, Mr. Doster, I think you asked for a T-SPOS list, kind of roads, so the board would have an idea of where to start with T-SPOS funds. And I think that this gives y'all a really good starting point of roads.
Which,
But if we're gonna do the other thing,
well, which the other, it'll change. That's right.
but also I thought conversation we had HB Chandler to handle after they take care of the railroad crossing.
Yeah, we don't know if they're doing it though. it's, according to Frank in the IDBA meeting the other day, it was gonna be pretty quick. I think they'd already, agreed on a price, and we'll just move in and fix that part after the fact. The T-Splice list, I would really just take it off my brain until we go through and get our evaluation done. Tonight, I would just focus on LMIG. And really, that's just the number of 1.1 you need to be focused on, because those roads could change.
Yes.
The bad part about doing it, because no disrespect to Zach, he's gonna print these roads, these people's gonna get excited about these roads, and these roads may change.
Yep.
Timberland's not. It's not changing. Timberland's going to
Right
be
down
fixed.
that one is top priority.
Yeah.
Well, just to cover the money, and I know it's gonna be way outside of what the LMIG is, but just my proposal, I guess my motion would be to adopt the LMIG list that's listed, and then possibly move Nice Commerce and Lim Edwards up just to cover if the state comes back, puts a little extra money in it that's already identified. And then the rest of it, I would propose that when we get the road rating schedule back, then we'll know what we're talking about.
Okay. So add Nice Commerce and Lim Edwards to this top list of 5.
If
For
the
session.
funding is there. Move
Okay.
those up first.
Okay.
Lim Edwards, we're probably gonna go out to bid on that road, for the road clearing of right of way, because there's so many, massive trees that there's more than we can take down, get rid of, so we'll probably go out to bid on that one. But, it along with Timberland is the 2 main roads that I wanna focus on.
So do we know what those 2 are gonna add to that?
Cost-wise, I don't.
No.
More than the state's gonna give us, that's my
Yeah.
point.
Well, I know that, I'm not asking, but I was just sort of wondering what we were gonna be asking for.
Almost as many miles on those 2.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. I know with conversations with Alan, Nice Commerce Road, I talk about it, that's where I live, so I talk about it all the time. And he said Nice Commerce Road could take up almost a whole LMIG budget by itself. So it will close to double what our request,
When we're asking, we're gonna be,
yeah, overshooting.
yeah, about 2.5.
But if legislature turns around and says they're
Yeah.
gonna take some state money and, you know, our funds, whatnot, and just dictate it to local paving, then
Yeah.
I'd rather have that number in there.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Ask for more.
All right, so I have a motion on the table with Mr. Doster. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Mr. Kirk?
Yes.
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 Yes. Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. I have been on them.
2022 qualifying fees. This is just something that happens. We don't have much of a choice in this one.
Need a motion to adopt.
I need a motion to,
Move to adopt these, qualifying fees as presented.
a motion by Mr. Chandler to adopt. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion, gentlemen?
For the district commissioner 3, 4, and 5, it's at 216, what about the other two?
They're on different cycles.
They're on different yearly cycles.
Okay, that's just
Every
every time
2
up here.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Brian Kirk.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, redistricting map.
Just-
Any discussion? It has been worked out thanks to Terry and Derek and Christina and Frank and Michael Williams and Tracy Dean.
It was a very interesting process. Tracy's information was very helpful. The staff there at the Capitol was very helpful. Tried to get District 4 to include GRP and come around the upper end of District 2 and get all those problem areas. It just didn't work.
I was just finished.
Sounds good.
But that looked like, it seemed like a very, very good resolution.
Well, I personally thank y'all for taking care of that and getting that worked out.
And pretty easy. And nobody was there with an agenda other than to get it right. And it just was very easy.
And try to maintain kind of the best we could.
Right.
You know, that some of the population's changed, but no radical adjustment.
Yeah, that first one was a little radical.
Yeah, the huge improvement is in the core.
So, with that being said, do I have a motion to approve the redistricting map?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Chandler, second by Mr. Kirk. Any discussion? Derek?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Now, we recommend approval. This still has to go to the legislature for them to,
Correct.
Yeah,
we're just recommending that this goes to them for approval.
yeah, and I think Christina's got the,
I've got a
yeah.
resolution, so that's what y'all just voted to approve the resolution, so we'll sign that, send that to the reapportionment office, Gabe that we met with.
Right.
If that's who we'll send it to, and he'll take it from there, and I'll copy Franklin off that.
I don't know who's gonna go to sleep first out there. You might miss something, Zach. New business, consider selecting the 2022 Vice Chair of the Board of Commissioners.
Nominate Mr. Doster as vice chair for 2020.
Second.
Heard. All right. Mr. Chandler.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you spell that in different octaves?
It's gonna be on record, that way it's a unanimous vote when I take over the world.
Yeah. Spell that Y-E.
I ain't voted yet, wait a minute.
You got most of the world right there.
You got Comer and Colbert.
Look, this is his little world, right?
That's it.
And I
Comer
try,
and Colbert.
You
and I'm
think
glad
maybe
he's got
I got a
that part
little
of the
place
world.
over next to Cigarette's Mill I'd like included in his district. If possible.
Industrial zone's right where it needs to be with that engineer over there. Consider a resolution concerning the,
We did that with,
Yeah, we did already.
Mr. Haygood.
Road updates. We worked on,
I had just one question, sort of road related. Roadside trash pickup when there's a problem, mattresses, piles of tires. We used to have Clean and Beautiful, and that sort of went by the wayside with Sandra Webb, and I actually had a message today, somebody wanted to know who I called, and I sort of directed them through it, and that goes to the sheriff's department. Anyway, we just kind of need to know where that goes.
it goes to Alan at the road department, and then he will let the inmate crew know the location, and then they go out and pick it up. And honestly, they've done a really good job about getting right on it. We called in that morning and rode back by that afternoon and be gone. And what I didn't expect it within 48 hours or 72. So the inmate job, they really, really do a good job. The pet peeve I have right now is tires. We just done a tire amnesty, and I can ride down the road and see tires laying in the ditch, and it just burns me up.
I can agree with that, and I think it's a lot from our used tire dealers that's right across the county line, most of them.
And
Really,
let's go around the table, roads.
I don't have anything this time other than a thanks to the crews that got the washouts repaired and paved now over in my district. There were 3 and they took care of everything.
Same thing, no issues, just appreciation for the work that's being done.
Frank, you got anything?
I have no issues in district that I'm aware of.
Oh, now that you said that.
You will be.
It will be printed exactly like you said, as I'm aware of.
Nothing other than just like Denny, people that call that we've got the roads repaired, the washouts, the first washouts that were over there, and that got those areas paved again, and I got more calls about thanking that we got that done, and so, hopefully we won't have a whole lot more washouts, and we get them fixed with culverts, and everybody will be happy. That never happened, but.
I'll wait and respond till we get that list of roads from our expert, so to speak, and
That's
then.
next Monday. He's coming Monday.
Okay, and then, also acknowledge the fact that things are getting the RFQ advertisement out for the comp plan. So that's been advertised, and hopefully we'll get some good proposals of some firms to be able to discuss.
I think we will.
It ain't necessarily a road update. I think it's HB Chandler. It's been underwater for about 2 weeks over there, 3 weeks. We flew a drone. We took the code enforcement drone out, and water's not moving because of property owners. It's basically just silted in, and to the point to where now the water's rising where it would normally flow with silt. It don't look like anything is deliberate, no dirt's been moved that would cause more silt than normal. I believe the bottom is just filling up, and we're eventually gonna probably end up having to raise that road in that spot there. I wanna say it's HB Channel, but.
It's a creek
Yeah, but it's.
down there behind the plant and go down the bottom hill.
But it's been 150 foot, 200 foot, it's been that deep in water for almost a month. And we can't get a piece of equipment off in there to be able to try to dredge it out, cause it's just a soft bottom.
We need to build forward.
Beaver or something in there.
Build forward and then it'll wash over top, you on the road.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, there's outs on both sides, it's not a dead end street, so.
yeah. If it continues to go by the way it is, when we flew a drone 400 feet this way and 400 feet that way, there's nothing we can physically do to fix the inlet or the outlet, because it's just a swamp.
That's in Derrick's. Yeah, it is in Derrick's district. We don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. So,
Because that is engineer or something.
if you get calls on it, we're gonna try to get a mini X down in there. We lose it, we'll know.
That's why we're over here and you're over there.
That's why they made my district yellow. Warning.
Approach slowly.
And it's just like that little bitty.
All right, statements, remarks from citizens. Exactly.
I thought we were more entertaining than that.
I'm interested in the code enforcement trouble.
I didn't sit here until I.
Yeah.
We're not in the 21st century, but we have a code enforcement trouble.
We have a 21st century code enforcement officer that
Yeah.
knew about the zone.
We didn't make a statement on the IDA board replacement. We were having a discussion in our intermission about that. Zach, you can help us. We want to make a deadline for submission of citizens that are interested in that position on the IDA board. Maybe sometime the tail end of December.
Submission of resume.
Submission of names and resumes to anyone who's interested in that position on the IDA board. And then we will take a look at those the first meeting in December. And I guess we'll discuss that with IDA.
First meeting in January.
January. Yeah.
I think we have 4 or 5 now, but because we have 4 or 5 and they're all, we might as well just get them all, pile them into one and.
We need to bring that
and
to,
read through it.
bring that to a resolution.
So why don't we say that they're due December the 27th, which is the last Monday of December, and then that'll give me a week to gather them and give them to everyone January the 3rd. So they'll be due.
That'd be perfect.
Probably
December
let
the
the county
25th.
clerk write something up and send it to that.
That'd be great. I can do that.
I was just fixing to say the county.
Any statements, remarks from commissioners other than adjournment? Hearing none, executive session to discuss real estate acquisitions, personnel matters, and potential litigation.
No, sir.
20th, December 20th is the next,
Yes.
no,
No, December 6th.
December 6th is the next work session, and guys, sorry to tell you, but it's probably gonna be 2 hours, it'll be as long as this, if not longer. It's
Oh,
stacked,
that's tomorrow.
about 2 hours. Yeah, from now on, you're 6, I mean, I apologize, but we've got a lot of stuff stacking up, we're trying to
Maybe we
split
can
months
get
to
some
make it easier, but.
Iron Pin to cook something over here.
That is an outstanding idea.
We know how to dial for pepperoni.
Motion adjourned.
And we'll speed dial, move, so move.
So moved.
I've been promised a steak for a while now, and I still ain't got it, I'm just saying.
He said he's waiting on the cash, ain't that right?
I've been trying to pay him, I can't get a price.
So, you just wanna call me after you got out about the wagon?
Mike, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Back and forth.
12-foot top Christmas tree between.
I can use Kelly's credit card and get all we need. I can have us all.
Frank was the only one was prepared. He brought 2 gallons of water, he knew it was gonna be a long day. Welcome, my friend.
All right. December 20th is, so we don't have one not on the
Right.
27th, but on the 20th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you okay, I'm sorry.
In the first meeting,
We'll vote on the calendar, like the rest of the year. That would look at holidays and stuff.
Okay, I got you.
That's where that came from.
I'm watching still.
Memorial Day, Labor Day, so you would meet on those days, so.
Right.
We'll adopt the calendar next year. For general meetings, like budget meetings, we just, whenever we have to. Special call meetings, whenever we have to. The specific, the general 2 meetings a month, we'll sit here that first Monday, let's do this, let's do that.
Okay.
Well, welcome to the team. Thanks. I know it's been, I know it's kind of like drinking from a fire hose for a while.
Just taking it all in tonight. The library thing, strange to me.
It is, and honestly, even though this is my third budget session, I guess, second budget, because the first time was kind of like you just, well, I actually came in January, so it was like, here's the budget, because I wasn't on special election, but, it's just kind of odd, and I just had when I say a better understanding, I mean, I really got a better understanding a couple months ago when we had the couple of representatives, what the board really is and what they do. And it finally started, I don't say clicking, it started that more questions. Yeah. So then you start looking at the budget, you say, it's a one-line item for us.
And are they branch managers paid a percentage of what they take in, like, is everybody getting the same percentage on all the different branches?
I promise you, I can probably look at that,